Let's begin with the latest updates on Russia's war in Ukraine. Russia has said that it destroyed a military airport in Kyiv. Russian armed forces launched a strike with long-range airborne precision weapons against an airfield in the Kyiv region, hitting all designated targets. Meanwhile, Ukraine has said that it conducted a drone attack against a Russian military airfield in the Kursk region. Russian investigators have said that genetic tests confirm that Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin was killed in the plane crash last week. Russia had earlier released a passenger list with the names of all the people on board. This included Prigozhin and his right-hand man Dmitry Utkin. The crash happened 2 months after Prigozhin led a failed mutiny against the Russian military's top brass. A white man who killed 3 black people in a racially motivated shooting in the U.S. state of Florida has been identified as 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmetter. He brought his guns legally and had no criminal history. The shooter left a manifesto which authorities called the Diary of a Madman. Police said that he knew what he was doing. Authorities added that the shooter hated black people. France is going to ban the abaya in state schools. An abaya is a loose-fitting robe worn by some Muslim women. During a recent interview, France's Education Minister Gabriel Attal said, and I quote, "When you walk into a classroom, you should not be able to identify the pupils' religion just by looking at them." Attal was made France's Education Minister by President Emmanuel Macron last month. The Taliban have banned women in Afghanistan from visiting a national park. A Taliban minister said that women had not been wearing their headscarves or hijabs correctly when they visit the park. The women in Afghanistan are facing numerous restrictions since the Taliban took over in 2021. Among other things, girls have been banned from attending schools beyond the 6th grade. Women have been banned from working with local or international NGOs. Niger's junta has cut off the water and electricity supply to the French embassy in the capital Niamey. Local media reports say that no food deliveries are permitted either. Reports say that those who are found helping the French by supplying goods will be considered enemies of the people. Niger's military junta had given the French ambassador a 2-day deadline to leave the country. That deadline expired on Sunday. Libya's Prime Minister has suspended the country's Foreign Minister Najla Mangoush. This comes after she held a meeting with her Israeli counterpart Eli Cohen. This turned controversial because the two countries do not share diplomatic relations. The meeting reportedly happened in Rome last week. Hundreds of people protested in Libya's capital Tripoli and other provinces after reports of the meeting surfaced. Foxconn founder Terry Gou is all set to run for president in Taiwan. The billionaire will be running for president in the 2024 election as an independent candidate. Gou stepped down as Foxconn chief in 2019. He had spent weeks touring Taiwan and has been holding campaign-like rallies. Gou needs close to 300,000 voter signatures by November 2nd to qualify as an independent candidate. At least 5 people have been killed in an explosion at an illegal firecracker factory in the Indian state of West Bengal. The building housing the firecracker factory collapsed after the blast. Several people were severely burnt and were rushed to a hospital. An investigation has been launched to determine the cause of the blast. Japan's space agency has suspended the launch of a rocket that was to carry a moon lander into space. The launch was cancelled due to unsuitable wind conditions in the upper atmosphere. The rocket was to be launched from the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency's Tanegashima Space Center. Over 500 Japanese residents from across the country gathered in Fukushima's Iwaki city over the weekend. This was to protest the discharge of the Fukushima wastewater. The protesters demanded an immediate halt to the discharge. Japan started releasing the treated water into the ocean last Thursday. Hundreds of residents were evacuated in eastern China. This was after heavy rains triggered flooding and landslides in multiple provinces. Yidu, a city in China's Hubei province, has issued a red alert. Heavy rains and strong winds have swept across parts of Spain's Mallorca island. Strong winds have brought down trees and caused debris to crash into buildings. Strong torrents of floodwater were also seen gushing down the roads. Footage shows a massive waterspout over England's Isle of Wight. The UK's Met Office said that it was spotted over the weekend. Waterspouts are tornadoes that occur over a body of water but do not reach land. Tropical storm Idalia has formed in the Caribbean. It could strengthen into a hurricane. According to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, the storm may bring high winds to the U.S. state of Florida later this week. The forecaster added that Idalia could cause a life-threatening storm surge and heavy rains may lead to flooding. Reports say that the search and rescue operations for the deadly Maui fires have ended. The death toll from the Hawaiian fires has reached 115. Meanwhile, hundreds of people are still unaccounted for. The fires started earlier this month. These were the deadliest wildfires in the United States in more than a century. Pope Francis prayed for the victims of the Greece wildfires. The fires have scorched tens of thousands of hectares of land. The European Union-backed Copernicus Climate Change Service said that the blazes in northern Greece have been raging for 7 days. It added that this was the largest recorded wildfire on European soil in years. A tigress has given birth to 3 cubs in India's West Bengal state. According to the latest figures, India's tiger population increased by nearly 7% in 2022. India was home to an estimated 40,000 tigers at the turn of the last century. However, poaching and the loss of habitat had brought them to the brink of extinction. China has reportedly made significant achievements in biodiversity conservation in recent years. Species like Asian elephants, snow leopards, and northeastern tigers have achieved restorative growth. This means their habitat and reproductive environment continue to improve. A number of ecological programs are helping save the endangered flora and fauna species from the verge of extinction. Colombian conservationists released 1,200 baby turtles into the sea. This marks the final stage of a conservation project. The project is aimed at protecting Colombia's freshwater turtles from illegal trade and natural predators. On to business and tech news. Argentina has announced a series of benefits for workers and pensioners. This is to soften the impact of the country's economic crisis. The government will give about $105 to pensioners over the next 3 months. Meanwhile, self-employed workers will be offered 6 months of tax relief. The unionized workers at South Korea's Hyundai have won permission to go on a strike. The National Labor Relations Commission has approved the strike. The union will decide its next moves on Wednesday. If it materializes, this would be the first wage-related labor strike in the company in 5 years. Last week, members voted to stage a walkout. This was unless Hyundai accepted demands for wage increases and an extension of the retirement age. Reports say Boeing is prepared to restart deliveries of its 737 MAX jets to China. The initial handovers are reportedly expected to take place within weeks. This comes after 4 years. China was the first country to ground Boeing's 737 MAX planes following fatal accidents in 2019 and 2018. U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo arrived in China on Sunday night. This is her first trip to the country. Raimondo is holding 3 days of talks with government and business leaders in China. With the visit, she seeks to boost business relations between Washington and Beijing. Raimondo is the 4th senior American official to travel to China in recent months. Shares of China's Evergrande Group fell by as much as 87% during early trading hours today. This comes after trading resumed for the shares of the company following a 17-month suspension. This has wiped out almost $2.4 billion of the company's value. Evergrande is the world's most indebted property developer. It is at the center of a crisis in China's property sector that has seen a string of debt defaults since 2021. The electronics arm of Chinese firm BYD has struck a deal with a US-based manufacturing firm, Jabil. It'll buy Jabil's China manufacturing business for more than $2 billion. The purchase will help BYD expand its customer base, product portfolio, and its smartphone business. The deal marks the latest retreat by a manufacturer from China. This comes amid rising geopolitical tensions between China and the US. Chinese electric car company XPeng will acquire ride-hailing giant Didi's smart electric vehicle unit. The deal could be worth more than $700 million. The two companies will also form a strategic partnership. As part of the deal, XPeng plans to launch a new EV brand in partnership with Didi in 2024. National Australia Bank is reportedly preparing to cut around 60 jobs. The layoffs would affect the markets division within National Australia Bank's corporate and multinational banking unit. If confirmed, this will wipe off 10% of the unit's workforce. Social media company X has introduced a new feature. It will allow organizations to post job listings on the platform. The company says this is exclusively available for verified organizations. The feature is currently at its beta version. The jobs will be posted under a specific section called We're Hiring. This will appear just below the bio of the company's account. Artificial intelligence can be used to decode signals from the brain and translate them. This is according to a new study. Researchers have sought a way to bridge the connection between the brain, the vocal tract, and muscle movement. This will enable people affected by strokes, paralysis, or other debilitating conditions to communicate. Moving to sports, in football, Spain's administrative sports court will conduct an urgent meeting today. It's part of legal proceedings that seek to suspend the country's football chief, Luis Rubiales. Rubiales had kissed Spanish player Jenny Hermoso after Spain won the FIFA Women's Football World Cup. FIFA has already suspended Rubiales for 90 days. However, the 46-year-old has refused to step down despite mounting pressure. Liverpool beat Newcastle 2-1 in the English Premier League on Sunday. Newcastle's Anthony Gordon netted the first goal in the 25th minute. Liverpool were then reduced to 10 men. Captain Virgil van Dijk received a red card in the 28th minute. But substitute Darwin Núñez, who came on in the 77th minute, scored two late goals for Liverpool to seal the win. Barcelona won 4-3 against Villarreal in the La Liga. Barca took an early lead in the game with goals from Gavi and Frankie de Jong, but Villarreal made a sweeping comeback and were leading 3-2 after 50 minutes. Then Barca's Ferran Torres levelled the game 3-3 in the 68th minute, and Robert Lewandowski's goal 3 minutes later saw Barcelona through the match. Italian coach Roberto Mancini has been named as the head coach of Saudi Arabia's national football team. Mancini's contract lasts until 2027. The deal is reportedly worth around $27 million per year. He will make his debut in the dugout for Saudi Arabia on September 8th. In tennis, the first round of the 2023 US Open begins today. Defending champion Iga Świątek will play against Rebecca Peterson of Sweden. Men's world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz's opening match is against Dominik Koepfer. World number 2 Novak Djokovic will face France's Alexandre Müller in his first match. India's Neeraj Chopra won gold at the javelin event at the World Athletics Championships. Chopra was not happy with his first throw in the final and decided not to register that score. In his second attempt, he recorded a throw of 88.17 meters. Chopra is the first ever Indian to win gold at the World Athletics Championship. The Indian men's 4x400 relay team finished 5th in the final at the World Athletics Championship. They clocked a time of 2 minutes and 59.92 seconds. This is India's best finish in a relay event at the World Championships. Earlier, the Indian quartet had broken the Asian record to enter the final. India's Parul Chaudhary finished 11th in the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase final at the World Athletics Championships. She clocked a new national record of 9 minutes and 15.31 seconds. With this, Chaudhary has also managed to qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics. In Formula One, Red Bull's Max Verstappen won the Dutch Grand Prix on Sunday. With this, he has equaled Sebastian Vettel's record of 9 successive Formula One wins. Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso secured the second position at the Dutch Grand Prix. In gymnastics, Simone Biles won her record 8th national title at the US Gymnastics Championships. She broke the record for the most all-round titles for a man or woman. And remember, Biles returned to gymnastics less than a month ago after a 2-year break. In the world of entertainment news, extreme heat has impacted the ongoing Hollywood strike in various regions across America. The Hollywood unions SAG-AFTRA and the WGA have suspended picketing at multiple locations in Los Angeles on Monday and Tuesday. This comes as temperatures are expected to rise. The WGA also cancelled picketing on all locations in the San Fernando Valley. This is the region that houses some major Hollywood studios, including Warner Brothers, Disney, and NBC Universal. Actor Henry Winkler has weighed in on the ongoing Hollywood strike. He said, and I quote, "Most of the people in my industry don't have enough. It is very important that we all make sure everybody has enough." The Writers Guild of America began its strike on May 2nd. The Hollywood Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, joined the strike on July 13th. Director Denis Villeneuve is hopeful about making the Dune movies a trilogy. He has teased the possibility of Dune Part 3. In a recent interview, Villeneuve said, and I quote, "If I succeed in making a trilogy, that would be the dream. I would say there are words on paper." Dune Part 2 is reportedly shifting its premiere from October 2023 to March 2024 amid the ongoing Hollywood strike. Stranger Things star Joe Keery spoke about how he feels now that the series is coming to an end. He said, and I quote, "It does feel like it's time, but it won't be easy for it to end." Keery debuted in 2016 with the role of Steve Harrington in the Netflix series. Through 4 seasons, Harrington's character went from being a bad high school boy to an ally of the main squad. Singer Adele stopped her concert in Las Vegas to take a stand for a fan who was being bothered by security. Adele asked the security personnel to leave her fan alone. She added, and I quote, "He's just here to have fun. No one will bother you anymore. Enjoy the show." This happened when Adele was singing her hit song, Water Under the Bridge. Singer Liam Payne has announced that he has been hospitalized because of a serious kidney infection. Payne has postponed his South American tour, but he said he will try to reschedule it. Liam Payne is a former member of the band One Direction. Singer Miley Cyrus has revealed why filming her new song, Used to Be Young, was an emotional journey for her. In the video, Cyrus tearfully reflected on her adolescence as she sang the song. The singer said that she's a mini version of her mother. She added that the music video is a reflection of her true emotions, which people don't get to see these days. Actor Mitchell Musso has been arrested in the U.S. state of Texas. He was charged with public intoxication, theft, and failure to display a driver's license. Musso was reportedly released on a $1,000 bond. The actor is famous for playing the role of Oliver Oaken in the Disney show Hannah Montana. American rapper Tyga has reacted to former partner and model Blac Chyna's willingness to seek joint custody of their son, King Cairo Stevenson. Tyga said, 10 years later, nah, stick to your schedule Saturday to Monday. Tyga and Blac Chyna dated between 2011 and 2014. Blac Chyna also has a daughter with media personality Robert Kardashian. Game show host Bob Barker has died at the age of 99. Barker's career spans 8 decades. He was best known for being the longtime host of the show The Price is Right. Barker began hosting the show in 1956. Barker also landed cameo appearances on TV shows including Family Guy.